I'm making this video, having done this by mistake, but now pretending it was intentional. I used the same camera settings for a year. Same settings, give or take a bit of shutter speed difference, but the same settings, 100 ISO, 125th, f16. And it's interesting because none of the photographs look the same. They all look like they were taken by me because, of course, they're in my style, they're my niche, but they're all different photographs. And there's a reason I'm making this video. A lot of us spend a lot of time worrying about the camera settings, the lighting settings, and all that sort of stuff. And now, most of the work you're going to see here is lit with one light, same camera, same lens, same camera settings. The light is at 1200 watts full power. The camera, as I said, 16, 125th, 100th. And there's something very liberating about this. There's something very freeing about having this. This is what we have. Let's do it. It's almost a point and shoot camera. Now, if you see this camera here, it is the most elaborate point and shoot camera, but it's very much like a point and shoot in that regard. There's no options. We just focus it and compose it. And it has been game changing for my career because I don't worry about any of that stuff. All of that tech is gone. It's disappeared. Now, before we go any further into this, if you would like to support this channel, the best thing you can do is like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference to me. So if you could do that, I thank you very much. So back to the topic. There's a reason I chose these camera settings, and we'll go through that first. The 100 ISO is the best image quality my camera produces. 125th of a second is enough in here to get rid of the ambient light when you're using a 1200 watt flash. And f16 is enough to focus anything with my Schimflung principle I can deploy with the tilt shifty lensy stuff. But it also gives me good corner-to-corner sharpness, and it is enough that I can use the light at 1200 watts from the distance I like to use it at and create deep, dark, crisp shadows, because that's part of the style of work I do. I'm not saying these settings are for everybody, but for me, they work very well. Now, I didn't realise I was doing this for a very long time. It was quite a way into it, and I think it was when I had to change lens from my 90 to my 50 to get a bit of distortion in one shot that I realised, oh yes, we're just at f16 again. But it's been very, very liberating. It's been great because all I have to do now is design the image. All I have to do is place where things go in the image. Even down to having a style of lighting that I use for everything means that it's always kind of the same. There's a bit of finessing and like fine tuning and all the rest of that good stuff, but generally speaking, I do the same thing shot in, shot out. There's no major changes. We do different angle of light, different sort of direction of light, but it's basically, we just use a flash like this one back. Here we go, here. Just bare ball, just straight in, full power, obviously, because I'm a boy and we put everything on full power straight away. But what has been great is that having removed all of that technicality, having removed all of those options and choices, it's actually made my work better rather than worse. You'd assume that if you limited yourself, you'd become worse. But in limiting myself, and I did the same limiting with equipment as well. You know, I cut down to 2 lenses for my work, a 90 for everything and a 50 for when I wanted distortion. But by doing these things, I just get all of this empty brain space, all of this free space in my head just to go, right, I'm going to go and create some work now. I'm going to create the image. I'm going to create the picture. I'm going to design something within the frame of this camera that's going to look good. I'm going to make an image. I'm not going to worry about anything else but what's in the image. The color palette, the subject, the narrative, the composition is just, that's all I need to do. And I've just removed so much of it because so much of photography is technical. As much as I like to pretend it's not and it's all creative, there's a huge technical element to this profession. And it's been so liberating to remove all of that and just go, well, this is what we've got. And of course, I have deviated on some shots and there's been commercial jobs where we've done slightly different things. One springs to mind where we basically rented the entirety of Broncolor's catalogue, but there's always been these little bits and pieces, and it's been so liberating though to do this, and it wasn't liberating at the time of doing it, because obviously I like to pretend I was doing it intentionally, but it was on accident. It was on accident. But now that I know I'm doing it, it's great. My camera's back there. It's on f16. It's on 125th. It's on 100 ISO. I just place the item in front of it that I'm going to photograph. You know, and it's not that f16 is the best aperture in that camera. It's actually sharpest at f10, but f16 is the most versatile. And relative to the light source I'm using, it gives me the highest contrast. So I think it's been great. And I think I'd like to know in the comments below, would you be willing to do this? Would it work for you? And if it wouldn't work for you, let me know why. Because I'd like to hear, obviously I can only see it from my point of view at the moment. I'd like to hear your point of view. What would the issues be for you? And of course, if you're a wedding photographer, they'd be plentiful. I don't suggest doing it at a wedding. But if you do something similar to me, portraits, anything commercial, I guess, anything in a controlled lighting environment, would you do this? Could you do this? Or is it just impossible? Let me know below. Anyway, I look forward to reading all your comments. I always read the comments. I look forward to it. I try and do that like thing where you can see that I've liked it so you can see when it's read. Can't always reply, but I do my best. I'll see you all soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.